Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dennis Prager Show. They just had a car chase here in Los Angeles, which rivets the country. And I understand that. I have to say, I am not one of these guys. I don't like looky-loos. But here, I just have one philosophical question. You know my view. When people do things like that, I want to interview them. And I don't mean for the radio. I want to personally ask some questions. Did you think you would get away with it? That on a busy freeway, you would elude 3 police cars? Somebody has to tell me their thinking. Also, my heart goes out. And I gotta tell you the amount of anger I have about this. These shootings at businesses, or anywhere, of course, out theaters, businesses. Man goes into the sign company. You folks in Minneapolis, a lot of listeners there. Walks to happen today. A sign-making store. I think, if I heard it correctly, a grandfather, his son, and his grandson. And a 4th person, and then kills himself. I have such anger at these people who do this. This notion of snapping. Well, let's get. Can we get snapping out of our vocabulary when it comes to evil? Who doesn't have? Well, there are people who don't, but the vast numbers of people who undergo some degree of psychological terrible pain, far worse than I am sure that this man endured, to murder human beings. I mean, I'm angry at you. I'm angry at you, so I murder you, and your son and your grandson, or your father and your son. Oh God, it's very important to get angry at times. It's very important. We should discuss that. We really should. We should talk about when is it right. There's this notion about, I don't know, you don't get angry or you forgive. I mean, the forgive thing, just don't start me. I don't want to get started on that. But there are people who think that God wants them to forgive this murderer. I'd like to get a video of God's reception of this man in the afterlife to teach people what God thinks of such acts. Anyway, I'm just furious. Man shoots up a business. Was he fired? Well, what is his grievance? He was fired. He didn't like the cable company cut his service. I'd like to know. He was in a divorce. How many people have divorced in the United States? Seriously, 40 million? I always like. Well, he was in a very bad divorce. All right, how many people have been in a bad divorce? 10 million? It's a new notion of almost excuse. Well, and if anything comes out, and I'm sure some will. Anyway, I'm happy he killed himself. It saves us the expense of a trial and getting these lawyers to say, well, you got to understand my client. You really have to understand him. And he comes into the courtroom in a suit, and the nonsense that then is created.